on my own. Almost got the day off because it's her birthday. So welcome, and today we're going to work on this little cassie that I worked on last time I was alone with you guys. So we're going to be doing that. I just want to open the phone so that I've got you guys here in case there's any questions. And you want to ask anything, then I can follow along. Alright, so what we did here last time was we used the Midnight in Paris from Petit Rouge, as well as the Absinthe, which is the like an olivey grey color. So I want to finish this up today. I'm also going to be dolling up some embellishments that we're going to be putting there, and I'll show you how to do that. And I'm also on my small blending brush and my big blending brush today. See, my big blending brush has had a couple of good years. So there we go. Let me just see. Okay, we're on. Alright, so here we go. So there's not going to be much talking today. It's more going to be painting and you following. But if you've got any comments, then feel free to ask. I've got the comments open. Hi Dawn, thank you for the birthday wishes. Thank you, Judith. Hi Lynette. Okay, cool. So let's paint. I'm just going to move it this way. So I'm planning to do one of these stencils on the top. This is one of my oldest stencils that I have in my cupboard. I think it's approximately about 4 years old. And I'm a very bad washer when it comes to stencils. So it still has a lot of paint on, but we're going to be doing this. So, hi Sarita. Let's get cracking on this. I'm going to try and move it a bit, just so that you can see and I can see. Can you all see it now? I think, can you twist the camera a bit down? We're going to get the camera a bit down. Just going to take this jersey off. And roll up the sleeves a bit. Now remember why I'm using the misting bottle. I'm using it just so that I can get the paint on quickly and blend the colors. So today we're not going to do much misting because I'm now actually filling in with the second one. But here and there I'm going to mist it just a little bit, just so that the paint can actually take. And I've got my old rag that I'm working with. Hi Juliana. So dipping my brush, and now I'm painting as if I'm going to close it up. I'm using Absinthe from Petit Rouge. Hoping you guys can see. Can you zoom in from your side? I'm going to try and get you guys zoomed in so that you can see what I'm doing. So I want to try and leave the middle part as flat as possible because I'm planning to put these embellishments on. Let's just open them. These are from the Rustic Bling. And I'm planning to use them like so. So I want that surface to be flat. So I haven't done any textured stuff or anything on this, on the middle part, just so that I can put my embellishment on flat. Okay, yeah, I see he's got you guys zoomed in. So here we go. I'm actually using a bit of a dry brush on this, so it's not as soaking wet as when we did the first coat. And you see now with the texture, it actually comes out quite nice if you just lightly dry brush over the texture. The texture we used on this was the Neptune's Rust. That's our product that we sell, just to get a bit of texture in your paint. We used that on, I think, the third video we did, where I did that big kitchen thing. So we used it on that as well. So just going in on the sides here. And you see I alternate my brush strokes, so it's going up and across. And it picks up all those little texture bumps. So there you go. And under normal circumstances you would have thought that this would be very avocado-y, because it's in like a olive green color, but actually with the blue it's actually lightening it up, so I think that is quite a nice mix. Maybe a little bit more, yeah. Okay. Alright, so I'm happy with this. What do you guys think? I'm going to twist it a bit up so that you can have a look. Are you Louise? Are you Nita? So just to recap, I've used the Neptune's Rust. That gave me those textured little bubbles that we've got. And then I'm using the Absinthe, just going over the Midnight in Paris from Petit Rouge. And that's giving me this rustic type of effect that I was looking for. Yeah, I think you guys can see okay. Right, so let's do the side. So now once again, I need to invite the sides to the party. And you'll see there's not much texture that I've done at the bottom of this little bedside table. More of the texture towards the top. But nothing stops me of just adding a couple of strokes up here. I'm just maybe bringing in a couple of stripes. So I'm really just dry brushing using only a little bit of paint. And once again, I'm not saying this is the right way or the wrong way, this is how I do it. So this works for me. Someone else might be much more complicated when it comes to painting. I just like to get it done quickly. So there we are. Now I'm still going to get the little feet. I still want to make them the Midnight in Paris as well. Okay, I'm going to flip it again, then you have a look. Tell me what you think. And then let's do the back. Now there's not any texture at the back. I've only just painted it. So I can now really just go in and make some cross hatch type of background. And not too much paint. So you'll get a, like a cross hatch type of look. I don't know if there's any comments there. Sometimes my phone just freezes. I think it's due for an upgrade after this lockdown. Alright, so I'm happy with that. Just going to tilt it so that you have a look as well. So there you go. And then one last side to do. Is the sound okay? Is the view okay? High and seal. So once again, for those that just joined, I used a texture called Neptune's Rust. That's a product that we sell. And I've applied it, and then I painted with the Midnight in Paris, which is the dark blue, and with the Absinthe, which is this greeny color that you're seeing now in the spot. And then just blended it together. Now I'm just going over with a dry brush in the Absinthe and just picking out those textured pieces that I've done. So all these little bubbles you're seeing is the texture coming out. And then I'm just going in. This is like a silent movie today. I just like both sides to be about the same, so I just need to make sure that both of them have got the same amount of paint on. So there you go. I'm just going to tilt it again, then you have a look. So it looks like it's been washed in the green. So that's that side. And now I, of course, need to do the top as well because it needs to blend in together. So same principle, but I haven't used any texture on the top because I'm planning to do stenciling on top. So yeah. And it's actually picking up pieces of the wood grain of the wood coming through as well, which is quite nice. Are you guys still with us? You're so quiet today. Because I'm quiet. If I do miss your comments, I will go over it after I'm done and reply to everyone, so don't worry about that. Okay, so I'm pretty much happy. This is how it's supposed to look in the end. It looks like this cuss was standing in the Titanic when it sunk. So that's the look that I'm going for. I'm just going to put it down on that side, and while it's drying, we'll do the stencil a bit later on. While it's drying there, I'm going to start painting my embellishments along, because I've got a little trick up my sleeve there as well. Hi Elaine. So the embellishments I'm using today is from Rustic Bling. These are going onto the doors like that. So I just want to make them blend in with the whole scene that we've got going down. So where's my little... I'm going to use my small blender for this today. Let me do this. Open this up and put them on top of this. The reason why I do this is because then it won't stick to the paper, so yeah. Just going in and just doing one coat, making sure you get into all the little nooks and crannies of your embellishment. This piece I want nice and flat. I'm painting with Absinthe from Petit Rouge. Somewhere is the Midnight in Paris in a liter bottle. Let me just get that too. There. Okay. Alright, one sec, I'm just getting this as well. I'm going to show you the difference between painting the background in a light color as opposed to painting the background in a dark color, so that you can see what is the actual difference, because if you don't play with it, you won't know which one will work best on your item. So I'm going to show you guys now what I mean with it. Oh, I forgot to show you. Yesterday's 40th celebration, we did a Dutch pour. And this is how Oma's one dried. I'm actually quite impressed with it. It came out lovely, and it's got like a metallic and a glitter finish to it. So I really like what she did. And this one was a total mess, guys. But I'm definitely going to try this again, maybe using quite a lot less paint and colors. So this one I'm not too happy with, but we'll do it once again when we have time. But that was a good exercise. That was good. Alright, so just finishing up. These embellishments are from the Rustic Bling. That's what we stock on the big embellishments. And I've made sure that I catch all the little white spots in between. Let's just have a look. So this is how it's playing with the Absinthe on. Right? Oh, nasty fly. And this is how it will look on my item. Just the Absinthe. Now, if I had to change the color, and I went for a darker color, like the Midnight, I just want to show you the difference. Something's buzzing around my head. So just making sure you get all the little crevices, because the last thing you want to do is put your thing up and then see, oh, but I've missed a white spot there, and there is no white on the item. Hi, Nunu. So today we're just painting embellishments, and I finished this little bedside table. Just dry brushing some of the Absinthe over it. Now I'm Midnight in Paris from Petit Rouge on the embellishment. I want the middle part to be smooth because I want to be putting on this oval piece here. You're welcome to ask me any questions you want to know. If I don't get to them now, I'll get to them afterwards. Alright, so this is just with the Midnight in Paris on. It's muted the color a bit because I've used my green brush, but that's okay. So this is how it will look with just the blue one on. And now we can see the two together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint that one in the Midnight in Paris as well. And then we're going to dry brush over it with the absinthe, so that we can get similar to this color. Right. And luckily these actually paint quite easily and quite quickly. You can also bend them if you want to bend them in hot water, and I think for 3 minutes. And then you can actually bend them if you want to, like have them curled or curved. So that's nice about these, is you can actually bend them a bit. So just taking my Midnight in Paris and just going over my embellishment. I'm going to show you now how I'm going to dry brush over the blue one. I think this one might need a second cut because I'm still picking up some of the green wet paint. So these are going to go in the middle of my little side table, side cassie, bed cassie. What do you call it? Bedside table. Hi, hold on. Alright, so as you can see, my blue is actually becoming quite light because it's picking up the green paint. So we might need to do a second coat on this one. But it's okay. Would you mind pretty much just maybe using the hairdryer and just drying this for me? Do you have it close by? I can give it to you. Do you have plug there? Oh, yeah, with me. Okay. So just make sure that your paint is in all the little nooks and crannies. You don't want to see any part of the white embellishment. And don't expect your hands to be clean after this whole process. Alright, so you can see there is a color difference between the two because this one has picked up the green paint. So I'm just going to let this one lie, and then we'll catch it again with the dark color. I think I've got it there. Do you mind putting it in the sun for me? Then it will dry quickly. And your hands turn out like this. Alright. And then I'm going to use this one now. Maybe I should dry it quickly. 1 second, let's just get the hair dry here. Okay, sorry for the noise, just a moment. And the moment it dries, you can actually see where we missed a spot. Like I see, I was holding it with my fingers there. And a little piece, yeah. Okay. I think I've got it covered. Just have a look. What do you think? Alright, so now I'm going to put it down, and I'm going to be using my round brush for this. Just a round hog-head brush. And I'll be just working on the bit of paint that I've got left and using a real dry brush, like blusher on your hand. I'm going to lightly brush the areas that is sticking out. In other words, all the raised parts. I can do this better with it down. Right. So dry brush, and if you feel it needs to be a bit darker, go over the area again. But rather go over twice than having too much paint on for the first time. So that is how it looks. Hope you guys can see. So I'm going to go over this again, yeah. And this will actually blend in nice with the background of my bedside table. And as you can see, I'm just lightly dusting it with the brush. And now I told you that I was going to stencil this inside, so I would need to lighten this area quite a lot in order for you to see the stenciling. So we are going to highlight this inside area. So that we can pick up with some stenciling there. Still working out of the little bit of paint that I have left. Dry brushing. So you see, it helps if you put the darker color underneath and then the lighter color you just dry brush with the top, on the top. I'm just making the inside a bit lighter so that I can use my stencil on top. And if you feel this is too pale for your liking, nothing stops you of adding another color like a white or a beige or cream. So there we go, that is how I want it. So what do you think? Do you think this is going to work? Just have a look. And we will apply this while the cabinet is on its back using just normal wood glue, or if you do have Cornish glue, then that's even better. So that one I'm fairly happy with. Do you want to pass me the other one? Then I can quickly just give it a second coat and blow it. So I'm hoping you guys can see this. You can have a look at it while I think about. Alright, thank you. You see, sun moves very quickly. Alright, so now I'm just going to go over this and just give it a second coat, just so that it's a bit darker. So that the two can at least match together. And I'll do this. I'm just going to put it down and let it dry while we do our stencil. Now I need a stencil brush, which I think is right behind you. And there is a bottle of Chantilly lace as well. The beige one at the bottom. Okay. And now we're going to do some stenciling. Let me just get my masking tape. I've got a stencil brush, don't worry. Okay. So as I said, this has been one of my oldest stencils that I've had, probably about 4 years. So I'm going to be using this on the corner at the back. But I need to put it on with my masking tape so that it doesn't go anywhere. And this is a very popular stencil for today. It's called the corner lace. We also do it in a round mandala. Okay, let's take this on. The edge here, so I need to tape it down that it doesn't move. Okay, there we go, and it's on. So for this we're going to be using the Chantilly lace, which is a creamy color. I'm dipping my stencil brush into the paint and I'm rubbing it off quite a lot. There's really just only a little bit. Putting my stencil brush straight down and working in circular motions over my stencil. Going back into the little bit of paint that's on my rag and then just dipping it in again. Can you see? Can I see? Okay. And if you run out of paint, you just dip your brush in again. Hi, Catherine. And you just go over it again. This stencil is so old. I think there was paste or something on this. And I never took it off, so it would be a good test to see how it does under this because it hasn't been washed. I might need to use some of this white and go over the embellishments a bit, but just to bring in some of the white that I'm doing on top here. Like I said, this is one of my oldest stencils. I think it's over 4 years old, so and it's still surviving. Saying anything today. If you guys are commenting and I'm not seeing it, I will go over the comments afterwards and reply to your comments. So if you've got any questions, drop your questions in the comment block and I will answer them for you to the best of my ability. I almost got the day off because it's her 72nd birthday. She's 72 today. So she's got the day off. And we're almost done. See if I've touched every little piece that I could. Alright, so the big reveal. Are you ready? Let's see how our ancient stencil holds up. There you go. These doors. So I think it came out really nice for an old stencil. I wouldn't do another corner on this side because it will overlap. So I might do some words or some script or something. But I think that came out quite nice. Now what I meant with going over the embellishment with some white was, we've already got the dark blue, which is the Midnight in Paris from Petite Rouge. We've got the light green on top, which is the Absinthe. And now I'm going to use the Chantilly lace and just give it a bit of a highlight here and there. So this is now my third color. And there's no right or wrong about this. So if you feel like it needs a bit of a more of a highlight, then give it one. There's no right or wrong. That's how I feel. It should be fun. And I'm going to maybe do the edges a bit. And maybe do a little bit in the center. Because this is where I want to do some stenciling. Alright, so then it's going to look something like that. And now I want my stencil on this one while that one is still dry. And for the stenciling, I was thinking of going back to the Midnight in Paris, which is the dark blue. And I've got an old stencil here with a little script and approach here. So this, I want to use the script part of. Just thinking, how am I going to show you guys? So, obviously this thing is going to not be like this. It's going to be like this. So I need my script to follow the pattern. So I can't just go and put on the script like that. It needs to be in line. So I'm just, now I can't stick my stencil down with my masking tape because my stencil is much bigger than my actual item. So I need to now hold it in place while I'm stenciling. And if you feel not comfortable with stenciling and you're scared you might go over the line, then you can always just stick it down with some masking tape. That's just for your own purposes. Hi Lorraine. Now let's try and get another round brush. This is a small number 6. So again, dipping in my paint. You really only need little bits. Obviously, the smaller your brush, the better you would go into things like lettering and small little fonts and stuff. So I hold my stencil in place because I can't stick it down. And I start stenciling. We're going to be taking it off now because we need to move the stencil. So then what you are left with is something like that, which is then stenciling on top of your embellishment. Let's see if we can get a bigger piece of a word in here. I'm just using a finer round brush. You would want something with a round point as opposed to a flat brush. It just works better for stenciling. Okay, and maybe a little at the bottom. So let's see if we can fit in a small little. And these don't necessarily read right. It's just to have an impression of a script on your embellishment. So there we go. So I'm happy with this. Maybe a little piece here, I think. Eye fillets. And I'm just adding a little bit of script on that side. Now, if you don't have stencils, but you've got some embellishments, some water slides left, water slide transfer with some script, you can always put a water slide on here or some flowers. So yeah, that's ultimately how it's going to look. Alright, so let's do the other one as well. It's dry to the extent that we can paint with it. So once again I'm going into my absinthe green I'm using Petit Rouge. I've painted with Midnight in Paris, which is a dark blue, and I'm just slightly dry brushing my embellishment, dry brush, as in I dried it on my rag, and that just creates a bit of a lighter effect on the raised pieces. These embellishments are from Rustic Bling. We stock them as well if you are interested in getting these. And I'm just slightly touching my embellishment, and you'll see it as opposed to the top that hasn't been a nice finish to it. I think there's definitely something wrong with my phone because I'm not seeing anything. So it's had better days, I think. First the microphone and then the sound. Yeah, now the messages. It's had better days. And I'm just doing the same that I did with the other embellishment. And I'm making a bit lighter in the middle because I'm going to be doing my stenciling inside. Okay, and then it looks like that. And then once that's really dry, I can actually start going in with my white color. Maybe need some more. I'm working with the Chantilly lace from Petit Rouge. So it helps to see the two together because then you can decide, do I need to put more or less of the color on. I'm happy with that. Just maybe the edges. And on that one I did fairly light in the middle. So I'm just going to follow the same principle. And there you go. The one is actually more greener, but okay, it needs to dry a bit, I think. So that's basically now the last thing we do is we put the embellishments on and we let them dry before we seal our project, so that when we seal our project, we seal everything together. Because you've done painting on your embellishment as well. Okay, I think this is as close as can be. What do you say? So we can now start doing the stenciling on the other one. How are we for time? So this one, I'm going to try and get it done the same way. So that it looks like a unit. I'm using the Midnight in Paris from Petit Rouge. Okay. Hello. And then trying to put the last few letters on. These type of stencils are not designed to read the script. It's just supposed to be an indication that there was a letter. So it's not supposed to be legible. Legible. Okay, here we go. I think, I did a little thingy here on the side. Here we go. So, it should be matchy. Maybe just a little bit of the white. So I like to put the two together to see what I did on the other ones, that I can do the same, especially if you're putting two on the same front piece. So yeah, just making sure I've got all the goodies the same. Okay, so that's it. So once we are fine to glue. Actually, do we have glue? Not yet. Okay. So what we will do is we will take this. This is now completely dried. I know I need to paint it this and do that little thing. So let's do this. So all I'll do now is I will apply a good amount of wood glue. I will put it up and I will measure the spaces between so it's equal. Maybe just do it the right way around, no? And then like so. And then we need to get new little handles here because I think the previous ones broke or something. So we need to get new handles. And then the little cassie should be finished. So what do you say? Don't look at this part, look at this part. Because that part I still need to paint. These little feet, I think I need to paint them with the blue. And then I'm not sure if I'm going to be using some foils. I might use a little bit of gold on the embellishments, but I don't want to go too much. And then I might add a word at the top. But then it's ready to be sealed. So. And I always seal my item after I've applied my embellishment. And that's how it will look. Keep this one here. And this one. There we go. But I do think it needs a bit of gold leaf just here and there. But I will get that done. Then we get it sealed. So this is the project that, look at the hands that we've completed. We will then continue with just maybe putting some bling on this tomorrow. And then we need to start a new project. So any ideas, some suggestions would be awesome if you guys can give us some suggestions. And then we will see you tomorrow at 4. I hope you've got a lovely evening. Bye-bye.